Welcome in. Another fun day of science here happening at Jefferson. And today is day 2 of minerals. Um, and here we go. Hopefully, maybe. So, yesterday, if you did your reading, you looked at the 5 characteristics of minerals, which we talked about yesterday. And you also looked at how we use properties of these minerals to identify what they are and how we can't just base it off of one property. We have to kind of look at a whole slew of them, um, or a whole bunch of the properties in order to identify the mineral. And we are going to be spending a lot of time on these properties and how we use them to identify. And in fact, here eventually the in-person kiddos will get to put their hands on some of these minerals and actually do some of these tests to see if they can identify a mineral. So let's talk about these characteristics. First and foremost is color. What actual color is it? That one isn't an easy one to use because we can have white quartz, which is a mineral, but quartz can also be pink. So we can't just use color as the only be all end all identifier. You're going to look at its luster. Its luster just means, is it shiny? When you put a light on it, does it reflect that light? Does it sparkle? And there's a couple of different words that you can use to identify luster. Again, like metallic or dull or shiny. Oily is another way you might identify that luster. You can do a streak test. Streak tests just take a ceramic plate, usually white, and you streak it. And then you look to see, did it leave a color behind? Sometimes you have to use a different colored streak plate besides the white ones. If it leaves a white streak, you're not going to see it. But if it streaks and it leaves a gray streak or a brown streak, that's going to help you identify that mineral just a little bit closer. You can look at its density. How heavy, I guess is the best way to put it, per unit volume, is this mineral? And we do density usually with a volume over mass kind of calculation. We won't spend, us personally, too much time in the density range, but that is something that scientists or mineralogists will use to look at that. They're also going to look at cleavage and fracture. Cleavage and fracture is, how does it break? So if it has cleavage, it's nice and smooth. There isn't a lot of jagged edges to it. If it fractures, you can think of like the fracture in a bone. It's usually a little jagged, or a fracture of a glass. It's kind of jagged when it breaks. And that is the same idea in a fracture in a rock. It's going to have not a smooth side. It's going to kind of be rough and jaggedy. We're going to look at its hardness on the Mohs hardness scale. So if it is harder than the mineral or the item, it will scratch it. If it is softer, it will be scratched. So we're going to look at it on the Mohs scale. It goes 1 to 10. 10 is like the diamond. It's the hardest mineral that we have. Okay. You can look at its structure, at its crystalline structure. How is it laid out? How are those crystals organized? And that is going to help you identify that mineral. The other thing you can look at is special properties. And special properties is kind of like a vague thing. But some minerals can conduct electricity. And if it does, it definitely kind of puts it into a certain category of mineral. And only a handful will do that. It might glow under like UV light, so think black light, and it might glow, it might luminesce. Is the fancy word for that. And not all minerals will do that. So there again, it kind of definitely eliminates some of those possibilities. Minerals can also be magnetic, meaning just like a magnet you stick on your fridge, it could attract a metal to it. Not all of them do it, and that is a special property that is definitely used to identify certain types of minerals. So today, what you're going to do is look at identifying minerals. We have Geology Kitchen number 2, and he's going to help you walk through all of those properties we just talked about in identifying minerals. And then down here underneath is an interactivity. It's on Pearson. And remember, to get to Pearson, you have to go through Clever. Clever is, we used it yesterday, so you should be good to go. But right here, your Pearson Easy Bridge, you're going to go into your textbook. You're going to go into classes and the assignment will be there for you. It looks like this. It's called it's mineral management. So you're going to look for interactivity, mineral management, and you're going to click on that. And Dr. Rock is right there. He's our geologist that you're going to help today. Okay, to determine, I'm going to move my video here just a second. Some minerals, what they are, and you're gonna walk through some of these tests. Okay, giving you a little bit of background story where you are, and then here is just gonna go through your properties. So like the luster, the color, the scratch plates, what we were talking about, your scratch test there, and some of the other properties like magnetism and luminescence. And there you go. So you're going to click through those. And then now you're going to help Dr. Rock analyze the sample. You're going to use his checklist and find some attributes. So you're going to click Let's Get Started. You're going to take a look at it. Is the luster metallic or non-metallic? I'm going to say non-metallic. What is the color? It's multicolored. It's got many. The streak test, you're going to look at it. It looks like a white streak test. Okay, you're going to just keep going through until you've run all through those. And then you're going to look at your results. And you're going to try and determine what that mineral is. So you can see here's your mineral, your luster, your color, your streak, your magnetism, and your luminescence. And they either do it or they don't, or they give you the color. Okay, and then when you're done, you've got a couple of questions to answer. And then you're going to hit that check mark to say you've submitted it and you will be done. Okay. When you are done, it is Wednesday, so it's kind of hopefully a little bit lighter day. Try to take a look at that grade book, see if you are missing anything, and get caught up. We will